People ignore the fact that the breeders are taking gambles. You have to take care of your breeders. That's the backbone of this industry. I need to provide for the breeder the best investment program I can. Share the upside. I've had a lot of people tell me they were glad they did it. You have people here, they have a farm and they need to sell their foals and they need to have a chance of making money. I'm proud of what's happened here. I think that we're just in the beginning stages. I'm excited really about the future.
Hi everybody and welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Spendthrift, the Breeders' Farm. I'm Dan Illman along with Nicole Russo, and let's throw up the field for Sunday's Spa Baby race, kicking off the late pick 5 with race number 8. We're going 7/8 of a mile for 2-year-old fillies. Our friends at Spendthrift are represented by the 1 Dai Dianu, the 10 Slam Dunk. Both of those fillies are by their top stallion, Into Mischief. And Nicole, we'll begin with the 1 Dai Dianu, a $295,000 yearling sold for $300,000 in March after breezing a furlong in 10-2. There is a lot of black type and a lot of stamina in this pedigree, and I think that will help her as she goes 7/8 of a mile in her debut.
Yeah, this can be a demanding distance for first-time starters. So I like that that's there to back up Into Mischief, who can get all types, but really made his name as a juvenile sire. And this one coming off a couple of sharp recent works for Jorge Abreu.
Dam was a grade 3 winner on the turf. She's foaled 3 winners from 4 runners. The second dam, Snit, was a grade 2 winning dirt router. The number 2 is Orsay, and we saw her last year as a baby at the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga yearling sale and $1.2 million, and a little bit more than a year later, here she is in the entries for trainer Chad Brown. Her dam was a really nice horse, Life at 10, a multiple grade 1 stakes winning dirt router. She has already foaled 3 2-year-old winners, 2 of them winning first time out. I'm really interested to see what we get, and I wouldn't be surprised if this one takes a ton of money.
Yeah, especially with that big price tag and with the American Pharaohs off to such a good start. It's very interesting to me. You know, they're off to a very good start on the turf. He has several stakes horses already on turf. That doesn't mean they won't run on the dirt. You certainly have a Sire and a Dam here who are both grade 1 winners on dirt, a Sire who was a champion juvenile and off to a leading freshman start, a Dam who throws precocious juveniles, and that 7 furlongs should be okay for this one as well.
And one of the winners the Dam Life at 10 has produced, Singing Bullet, who placed in the Amsterdam at Saratoga sprinting. Obviously, that one won the career debut and earned a 95 Beyer top. The 3 is Miss My Macho, and this horse has an experience edge over many in the field. Miss My Macho has raced twice in her career, but both times on the turf, including a 2-turn race most recently when in against Cristal, who came back to flatter Miss My Macho by winning a stakes race earlier in the week. I like her turning back to 7 furlongs. This is the family of Weekend Surprise, obviously the dam of classic winners AP Indy and Summer Squall. Miss My Macho, I would not be surprised if she improves and maybe gets a minor award, but it just seems like she's facing some quality maidens.
She certainly is, but you know, in addition to the distance change that you mentioned, I think dirt will be the preferred surface for this one as well by Mucho Macho Man and from a classic type female family. One of several horses running in the Sunday card who is coming out of that race that you mentioned on August 4th when Cristal crossed the line first but was disqualified for interference, elevating the well-regarded Sketches of Spain to the win. There are also a few others immediately preceding this race in Sunday's 7th race at Saratoga, coming out of the same, as you can use those to keep evaluating the race's form. As you said, Cristal certainly flattered it when she came back and won the P.G. Johnson yesterday at Saratoga.
The 4 is One Time Around, and this is a daughter of Empire Maker that sold for $400,000 as a yearling. Empire Maker connects with 16% of his 2-year-old starters. This is the first foal out of an unraced full sister to Tecton, who was grade 3 placed, routing on the dirt and earned a 94 Beyer top. The second dam of this horse is the 2-year-old grade 2 winning dirt sprinter Touch Love, who was undefeated as a juvenile. This filly made her debut against Figure of Speech, who will see later on the Sunday card in the spin-away. She was just out-sprinted that day, and with this pedigree, I think the additional furlong and a half is going to benefit her.
Yeah, definitely a respectable fourth on that debut. You mentioned Figure of Speech is bound for Grade 1 company. The second and third place finishers in that race, Drop a Hint and Hollow Jury, are both running back actually in our Spa Baby race on Friday, a couple of hours after we filmed this video. So perhaps take a look at that as you continue to evaluate one time around.
The number 5 is Always a Queen. This is a Rapoli stable homebred for trainer Todd Pletcher, and she's from the first crop of Tonalist, who of course won the Belmont Stakes, a 2-time winner of the Jockey Club Gold Cup, won the Cigar Mile. We expected Tonalist to get out of the box a little bit slow with his first crop. He's only 1 for 25 with his juvenile debut runners, but 7 furlongs and extra distance is going to be good for the Tonalists, especially this filly is out of a Curlin mare who is a very good 2-year-old and also finished 4th in both the Alabama and Coaching Club.
Yeah, Dan, that was a very, very respectable race mare. We certainly expected the Tonalist to need some time, as you said. He was quick enough as an older horse to win races like the Cigar Mile, but was really at his best going long in races like the Belmont Stakes, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Big, leggy horse who's throwing physicals that match his, and sometimes those horses just need some time. It certainly looks like Todd Pletcher has given this one the time, has been working steadily. I mean, there's a full work tab on this horse in her past performance line. And, she should have, in addition to that stamina-laden pedigree, just a good bottom on her to go this 7 furlongs.
The 6 is Cleopatra's Charm, and this is another one with a beautiful pedigree by Pioneer of the Nile, of course, the sire of Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh, and the Damn Careless Jewel won the Grade 1 Alabama at Saratoga, going 1.25 miles with a 1:06 Beyer speed figure. Just a lot of class and distance in this family, but as we've said many times this season on Spa Babies, Mr. Lucas likes to give them a race.
Yeah, he definitely likes to run them fit. And, this Cleopatra's Charm already has some bullet works on her resume. She looks like she has quite a bit of speed. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see her pick up a share of the awards here, especially going the 7 furlongs. As you mentioned, another just stamina-laden pedigree. But, I do expect the Wayne Lucas horses to improve with a start or two under their belt.
Perhaps this filly will show improvement second time out at Keeneland, maybe around 2 turns. Here's the Wayne Lucas formulator fact with first-time starters. Past 5 years, 2-year-old debut runners in maiden special dirt sprints at Saratoga, 0 for 27. As you said, he likes to run them fit. The 7 is Buxom Beast, and this is a $205,000 daughter of the Big Beast, who won the H. Allen Jerkin Stakes when it was run as the King's Bishop. Very well bred, a half to gourmet dinner, who won the Delta Jackpot as a 2-year-old. Contessa showed a lot of confidence in Buxom Beast, debuting her in the Grade 3 Schuylerville, and I don't think she was embarrassed at all. She was out-sprinted over that wet track, made a nice inside turn move. I liked how she finished, and with that experience under her belt, she's very dangerous.
Yeah, I think a very creditable effort against tough company in her debut. Came out of that and fired a bullet work on August 28th. You know that I like it when 2-year-olds come out of their debuts and work well. They sort of come out of it knowing what their job is, and you see that light bulb go on a little bit. Gary Contessa, another trainer who often moves forward with a start or two under their belts. The Big Beast, as you mentioned, a brilliant sprinter himself, has thrown some nice 2-year-olds in his first crop here in this competitive freshman class.
Shug McGahee has the 8, Alondra, a nice mixture in this pedigree, daughter of Breeders' Cup Classic winner Blame. This is a half-sister of First Growth, who was graded stakes place sprinting on the dirt. The Dam Altesse by Classic Stallion AP India, Grade 3 winning router on the dirt. This is just a great family where the 4th dam is just the Blue Hen mare, Courtly D. I wouldn't be surprised if more distance down the road for this one.
I think that's going to be the key for this one. You mentioned Courtly D, her family that just keeps continuing to produce through the generations. You mentioned First Growth here in the immediate family for Alondra, but sprinters like that tend to be sort of outliers in this family. Its predominant trend is toward route races, and I do think that'll be the future for Alondra. I think she might just be here to get the experience, get her feet wet.
Perhaps the 9, Impeccable Style, will have a little bit of speed by the super young stallion Uncle Mo, winning 16% with his 2-year-old debut runners. A $155,000 weanling bought back for a $140,000 price tag as a yearling. This is the first starter. I have an unraced half-sister to Kids Cooler, who is a 2-year-old stakes-placed miler. The second dam was a stakes-winning sprinter. Kenny McPeak's having a really nice meet.
He really is. He's another one of those trainers who we talk about where they tend to improve in their second start. That being said, can't ignore how well the barn is doing right now. And the Uncle Mo's just, they do anything, but he's another one who really made his name as a good sire of 2-year-olds. No surprise, as he was a champion 2-year-old himself.
And the last horse in the body of the field is the 10, Slam Dunk, who is by Spendthrift Stallion Into Mischief, a $185,000 weanling who sold for $450,000 last year. This is a half to Kitten Caboodle, who is a 2-year-old Grade 3 winning router on the turf. Slam Dunk was bet hard down to favoritism in her career debut. She didn't break well, rushed up in between horses to track the pace, came 4 wide in the stretch, and she finished evenly behind Figure of Speech, who again is running in the spin-away for Chad Brown on Sunday. I would think with that experience under her girth and this outside attack post position, we can expect an improved performance.
Yeah, again, a bit of a troubled break in that debut. I'll certainly give her a mulligan for it. Again, as these young horses figure out the racing game a little bit. Another one, as we mentioned, coming out of the same race as Spinaway Bound Figure of Speech, and 2 others who are set to run a bit later today, and another one by leading juvenile sire Into Mischief.
Fun race on Sunday to kick off the 50-cent late pick 5. Where are you headed?
Well, I do think that this is a dynamic race. As I said, there are a couple of key races you may want to go back and take a look at, and some other runners from those races that you'll want to watch over the weekend and continue to evaluate leading up to post time. That said, on paper at this moment, I'm going to look at Buxom Beast, who offers value at 5-1 on the morning line. Just knowing how Gary Contessa's horses do often tend to improve second out, I don't think she disgraced herself at all when 4th at a graded stakes in her debut. I think she could take a step forward here. And with her, I'll use Orsay, the American Pharaoh, Life at 10 filly, and Always a Queen by Tonalist out of Danette. I do think both of those will ultimately want to go longer, that they could be true 2-turn horses. But I think that those pedigrees will give them a leg up on some of the others in here, as several are asked to debut at this demanding 7 furlong distance.
Before we get to see the board or see the horses in the paddock, I'm leaning on one first-time starter and one experienced runner in my pick 5. The first will be the 1, Daidaenu, for Jorge Abreu, the Into Mischief filly with a very strong pedigree. I think she is going to be built for the 7 furlongs. And the experienced horse that you mentioned, Buxom Beast, who ran well in her debut in the Schuylerville, and I think will benefit from the experience. So I went 1, 7, 4, and 5 in Sunday's Spa Baby Race presented by Spendthrift, the Breeders' Farm.